Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. This is a special week with a special birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Israel. Happy birthday to you. Friends, it was the 70th birthday of Israel the other day. And it was on the 5th day of ER, or this year on April 19th, and is known as Yom Ha'atzmaut, the Day of Independence. The shining bastion of hope of people everywhere, a home based on the spirit and belief in freedom, of faith, of life. A tiny country with incredible fortitude, unity, and connection. If you've never been, you must go. Let's hope that it just continues to shine as a beacon for everyone. Now, it's celebrated in the month of ER, which is a time to heal. And it's a month that links the freedom of Passover to the gifting of the Ten Commandments in the Torah, the Great Epiphany, and Shavuot. Now, to the mystical Kabbalists, it represents the instinctive root of emotion. And in the body, it would have been ruled by the kidneys. So during this month, we focus on consciousness and maintaining consciousness in our lives. Happy birthday, Israel. Now, only a few weeks ago, we ate from the table of God and we had special food that told the story of freedom, and it pointed to a moment in time that is forever etched in the collective consciousness of man. But it does not stop there, because every week, every day, every meal, we celebrate with God and we invoke our senses, sight, taste, touch, smell, in the reenactment of a covenant that has gone on for over 3,000 years. Now, there were 4 covenants which God made with man. First was, of course, the famous Noahic covenant, the one he made with Noah, when God decided that he was wrong in creating man because man is evil in his heart and it's his inclination to be evil. So God decides to bring the flood, but he takes to Noah and he saves Noah and he covenants never to destroy mankind again. And he sets the rainbow as his sign of the covenant. Second, we had the Abrahamic covenant to give land to Abraham and his descendants and to make the world a better place through them. And circumcision is the sign of that covenant. The third was the Mosaic or Israelite covenant, which was the one given at Mount Sinai, where God gave the 10 rules of life and made the Sabbath as the sign of the covenant. For all who wrestle with God, Israel, there needs to be some time for recharging, my friends. And the fourth covenant is one we haven't seen yet, but that's the Davidic covenant, where God proclaimed all kings of Israel would come from the line of David. But the people had to follow the laws of God. Now, the first and the fourth were God-fulfilling ones alone, while the second and the third involved man participating. Now, you might not have had a choice in participating in circumcision, but you certainly have a choice in observing the Sabbath, the ceasing, the covenant made, with the 10 Commandments of Mount Sinai. So let's use this opportunity to welcome others, everybody we know, to celebrate our coming together as a like-minded group in a showing of faith, of love as a community, a chavura, fellowship. When we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all together, my friends, in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know to come physically, psychically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. Community. Together. So as a community, let us all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the entire world. This world's not so big, is it? Now, we recognize the prayers that are done are both to give thanks and to engage our totality in a central experience as deep as our core being, so that we can understand the joy of unity and all the prayers that we do unifies all of our senses together, and it brings our senses into focus. And that's what makes the Sabbath such a special thing, because we bless both God and ourselves doing it. And we begin with the candle lighting, which invokes our vision, because the flame reminds us that within each of us lives the divine fire that can illuminate the darkest of places. And then we raise our cups, thankful for the partnership we have with creation. And we take the bread of the earth, the bread of life, and in tasting that, we share the grain of truth. And so we do these things every week. In fact, we do these things every day. We do these things at every meal. And these three things are the keys to life, because light gives us strength and shines a light on the fears that we carry. When seen in the light, they're not so daunting. Water, juice, wine, bread, whatever it is that we have, well, they're the objects of sustenance that keep us alive. We receive our blessings and the gifts of creation, of life from God. And so these little blessings is our turn to bless God and to thank God. And it allows us to exercise gratitude. And gratitude is a wonderful thing that we should really all express a lot more often. And in setting aside a few minutes of sacred time in your sacred space, it's your chance to honor not just God, but you actually get a chance to honor yourself, my friends. So make sure that you do that. Now, as we generate a spiritual connection, because that's what we do when we do these things, it unites us all together as a whole, right? And we can send healing and renewal energy out to the world. And so let's send some special prayers now, for Joseph, for Deborah, for Ronnie and Aubrey, for the Cardinal, for Ben and for Lindsay, for Rosemary, and for the souls of all whose hearts were shut down when they were younger and are just starting to grow their hearts back now. Let's send love and renewal and healing to them and to whoever else who comes to mind. And of course, make sure you do include yourself, because you need renewal too, my friends. It is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love we send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each and every one of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit never dies. Me, Shabera, Avotenu, Makor HaBracha, Vivotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits the world over renewed, my friends. Now you're dedicating sacred time in your sacred space, even if only for a few minutes. That's all you really need. If you can't take a full day, that's great, but you know what? If you can only take a few moments just to make a few invocations, it can be part of your intention, your kavanah, your service, to yourself, to God, to whatever you believe in. Well, this week, we have another double parsha. We have tazria and metzora. Now, one is kind of about purification after childbirth, and the other is about leprosy. But of course, that's not what they are really all about at all, is it? Now, I do want to say, however, that the second of today's is not really about leprosy, period. It's a very poor translation. It's a poor understanding. Although understanding is not what it once was. There was a recent live television version of the immortal show Jesus Christ Superstar. And the actor playing Jesus, real life, some kind of celebrity, posted on social media for the world to see that there was going to be leopards in the show. Wow. It's bad enough we confuse skin blanching with leprosy, but confusing lepers with leopards warns of a true lack of understanding. So people just don't understand anything anymore. Well, we recently discovered that those two fascinating terms, tameh and tahor, impure and pure, were going to be working their way throughout the rest of the Bible. And this is really what this section's all about. Because it begins talking about the impurity that arises due to childbirth. Leviticus 12:2. She shall be unclean. Well, the notion that the blood of childbirth rendered the woman ritually impure was actually widespread in the ancient world. There were even different periods of impurity prescribed for whether it was a boy or a girl. There are plenty of rules, but there's no reasons why it should be different. And there is no entirely satisfactory explanation which has been offered for why a female child requires twice the length of recovery time for the mother to be free of impurity. Though perhaps it's because there's a predisposition of the culture to see the female as a potential source of impurity. I don't know. But the idea goes back to this concept of a contagion, the belief that conditions spread. Now, the focus is always on negative conditions, but we are also told that holiness is a condition, and that can spread too. But here too, the translation hasn't helped. The sacrifice the mother is to make is referred to as an offense offering, but in most translations, the Hebrew chatat is translated as a sin offering. So there is this connection between childbirth and sin that biblical Hebrew automatically predisposes because of how we choose to translate it. Now, surely the childbearing woman has done nothing that can be called a sin. The state of ritual impurity, however, imposed by biological circumstances, makes her a potential source of violation of the sacredness of the sanctuary, which would be an offense and therefore an offense offering. I can understand that for the cult. But in every translation you're going to read, it's a sin offering, and therefore childbirth and sin go hand in hand. Now, don't forget the biblical priesthood was the decider and the treater of everything. You didn't go to the doctor. All the instructions we have from this point on are about you go to the priest, and the priest determines length of time and all the rest. Because in this section on postpartum and on leprosy, the priest would shout out, Leviticus 13:46, unclean, unclean. All the days that the affliction is on him, he shall remain unclean. He is unclean. And of course, he means he or she. So what's really going on here? We have people being separated out from the tribe. And again, we have this concept of la'abdil, separation. Now, we also have laws that are built on inclusivity, that whatever happens with one person happens with another, and you have to treat aliens the same as you treat citizens, because everybody's the same. But here we get this emphasis on division and separation that takes place within the priesthood. The priesthood is deciding. It decided with food, it decides with people. Now, maybe it's really emphasizing the idea, my friend, that body, mind, spirit connection has to go hand in hand. Like among all cultures, ancient cultures in particular, treatments are not isolated. You don't just treat the body. You treat the soul, the spirit. And maybe now, in today's day and age, we're finally realizing how important that is as we go and try to rediscover our own mind-body-spirit connection in current medical approach. Last year I did some work on a project for a university in training its medical students to take a more holistic, mindful, conscious approach to treatment of the whole, not the parts. So maybe we are going back to, what the priests were trying to do, which was treat all aspects of the person. So why do we end up with this long section on dermatological disorders here? Well, the fact of the matter is the ancients perceived and described diseases and their symptoms differently than does modern Western medicine. And conditions that they understood to be single malady may have actually been a variety of diseases, not all of them intrinsically related. Now, scholarly attempts today to equate the various conditions reported here with specific dermatological disorders have had extremely limited success, partly because we don't know how to properly translate some of these afflictions. And the second half of this parsha is the perfect example. Leviticus 13:1 introduces us to a new topic, skin blanching, the discoloration. Although every older English translation represents the Hebrew tzarat as leprosy. Now, modern scholars are virtually unanimous in rejecting this identification, but there's not a lot of modern translations. The symptoms do not correspond, and there is scant evidence that leprosy was actually present in the Near East before the Hellenistic period. No positive identification with a disease known in modern medicine has ever been made. So we're relying on these translations that don't hold up anymore. And in most biblical occurrences, tzara'at is associated with this ghostly, ghastly white loss of pigmentation. So it's not about leprosy. And this will be especially ironic in the coming punishment of Miriam. But friends, it just brings us right back to this word I mentioned before, this general sense of tameh, unclean. We are separating out the impure from the pure. And recovery is not even discussed. It's automatic. It's not even an issue as to whether somebody is going to be healed from this. They will be healed. It's a given. And so when they recover, the priest decides when they can rejoin the population. And there are set times for the impurity to become pure again. Now, the concern's not a medical one of contagion, but a ritual one of contamination. And there's this overriding preoccupation that the priestly writers have to protect the ritual purity of their special domain, the sanctuary. So this isn't about disease and about, impurity for what it is. This is all about contamination and the status of a condition, because these were simply conditions. I pushed my soul in a deep dark hole, then I followed it in. I watched myself crawling out as I was crawling in. I got up so tight I couldn't unwind. I saw so much I nearly broke my mind. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. This is all about how long it's going to take for that condition to be dealt with. The cure was automatic. And what better way to introduce this topic than by blood? Now, something men fear and do not understand. Blood is powerful. It's one of those powerful things we have. It evokes unbelievable images. It creates feelings of guilt, like with Lady Macbeth. For men, it's about injury or illness. For women, it's a natural part of monthly life. But it's the way to get the attention of what the issue is. And then it jumps and uses another visible issue, skin problems that, unfortunately we translated as leprosy. It wasn't leprosy. And this one is a throwback to the plagues. When one has a visible problem, my friends, it is a special distress. It is embarrassing. It is frightening. One feels ugly. One does not know how long it will last. One wonders if others are making fun or pitying or feeling disgusted. Friends, being impure because of a skin condition does not mean that one has done something wrong any more than being impure because one happens to be menstruating means that one has done something wrong. The great lesson for us is that we can still learn from this to be sensitive to the added distress, embarrassment, vulnerability that are felt by those who suffer from illnesses that affect their appearance. Now, there's a frequently quoted midrashic play on the word for leprosy, metzora. That's a shorthand for Moshe Samra, meaning someone who brings out a bad name about someone else, like a slanderer. And we all know the danger of lashon hara, the evil tongue. In this world of separation of categories, holy and secular, pure and impure, which is the entire recurring concern of Leviticus, we have to remember, it's not about curing. It's about returning, teshuvah, about reintegrating people that have had a condition back into the community. It's all about bringing people back, my friends. That's what the whole thing about the blood from the childbirth and about the leprosy is. It's bringing people back, making them a part of the whole, reunifying. Yes, the world is sacred, and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love, share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together. Men and women equally. Let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Now open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey, my friends. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions, your kavanah. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. We set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our kavanah, our intention, our cause, our effect, everything's all linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. It's the greatest thing you can do. And do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you, as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate in life. See, the secret of forgiveness, my friends, of compassion and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself? Can you accept other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is, without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings and bring people back into your community. So don't stop your journey. Don't stop moving towards your own promised land, your home, your tabernacle. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep sending joy, goodwill. Do not follow fear, my friends. Follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. Now may all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. And may you work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind. Because the deepest source of real power, my friends, lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, aware, present in all of your circumstances. So make the most of your time in life. Continue to touch and transform the lives of everybody around you, because you're not alone. You are forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to everyone you meet. Health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. It's a contagion. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous with them, friends. Bless others, bless yourself, and love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith, belief, and see how far you are from knowing that these things arrive. And do not accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other. We are, each of us, trying to find our own way in life and freedom, but reintegrating as a brotherhood of man. We all want to be parts of a whole. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say, I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. And the world will be as one, my friend, maybe one day. Although I was with somebody the other day who said they kind of think this planet has had it. They don't want to come back to this planet. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, and be loving. And put your will on the blank canvas of life and keep celebrating being free to be you. It's an opportunity that you want to really relish. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care, and I will see you again next week.